Hi fam, it's your girl Miss Diva Trucker. I'm coming to you today because I'm having some questions about getting in school and what's the process, what to expect when you go into a mega carrier to go to CDL school. So I am going to talk to you about what to expect when you decide that you're ready to go to CDL training, okay, at a mega carrier. The first thing that you're going to do is, if you haven't already, and you're thinking about going and you know that this is something that you want to do, you give me a call on my 800 number, 1-800-620-9235, okay? And what we'll do is we'll go over the options on what's out there and what's available. Different schools offer different things, okay? Their training is different and the pay may be different, and you may have to go to different states that they offer the training in, okay? So you want to make sure that you have all your options available to you so that you can make a better decision on what school to go to, okay? You're going to bring things like all your identification things. You're going to bring like your birth certificate, your social security card, your marriage license if you have one, any documents that they ask to show maybe proof of residency. Have that all in a binder to bring with you up there to your CDL school, okay? Then once you do that, this is what's going to happen when you get there. You put in your application at a school, right? So you're going to get a couple of schools to start contacting you, telling you what they have and that they can get you into a program, okay? Once you make that decision, they're going to get you to that school. By most of the time, it's going to be by Greyhound bus, okay? You will arrive to that school. Now, some schools will have you in a hotel, okay, and some schools will have you into what is called a kind of like a dormitory type situation, okay? If you ever been in the military, you may have to, they may have bunk beds in there, they may have different, you know, all women in one room and things like that, okay? It's like a campus environment, okay? Some schools have you at a hotel. You may have to share your room with someone. You usually, it's not until after you get your license that you don't have to share your room with anyone, okay? Be prepared for the unexpected, okay? Everybody that goes off to CDL trucking school is not, don't make it the first time around, okay? Either they're missing documents, there's some things that may have come up in their records that they got to get cleared up before that they'll be able to continue on with their with getting their CDL. So it may be tickets that come up. So try to be prepared as best as possible, okay? When you arrive to the company that you go to, the first day of training is probably going to be just an introduction of the staff, what to expect. You are going to do a DOT physical, okay? Probably your first day, okay? Because that is when they weed out a lot of people that may test positive for drugs, may have all kinds of problems. So that first day is what you're going to do. It's called a DOT physical. You're going to do that as soon as you get there. What's expected in a DOT physical, okay? A DOT physical, you got to at least have 20/40 vision or better, okay, in both eyes. They're going to do a drug and alcohol test. Some schools do urine, some schools do hair samples, some schools do both, okay, depending on what school it is. They're going to make sure, they're going to look at your respiratory, cardiac, medical history, any kind of medications that you're on. They're going to ask you about your medications and what are you taking as being a prescription to see if it's okay for you to be able to drive a truck, okay? They're going to give you a hearing test to make sure that you can hear. And you can take that test with your hearing aid if you have one. They're going to take your blood pressure. Your blood pressure has to be at least 140/90 or better, okay, in order to get that DOT card. If it's higher than that, they may give you a temporary card for 3, 6, or a year, okay? But you want to make sure before you get your trucking school that your blood pressure is under control. If you're on medication, let them know what that medication is and to make sure that it is under control. If you have problems with your vision, you need to make sure you go see a doctor before you go to truck driving school, okay? Because you could be sent home for that. You could be sent home for your blood pressure if it's not under control, okay? You must be able to walk. Some schools require for you to walk underneath the trailer, okay? You're also going to have to, a school requires you to climb in the trailer, okay? By using your 3 points of contact. So you may have to pull yourself up on the back of the door and get yourself in the trailer. You're going to have to be able to walk under the trailer, okay? And some schools have an agility test where they make you use, you know, your strengths and things like that. You're going to have to be able to lift at least 35 pounds, okay, in order to get your DOT card, okay? Some people get disqualified right then. Either they're not going to pass their drug test, drug and alcohol test. They're not going to pass some of the tests, and which is a disqualification. You get sent home right away, okay? Some people, once you're in the schooling part of it, things may come up in the background, and that might be a disqualification that way as well. The first week, all you're going to do is study for the permit test, okay? You're going to be going back and forth to the DMV, and you're going to be taking your general knowledge, your air brakes, and your combination. That's why we tell you before you get to the school, kind of be familiar with those tests so it won't be so hard on you, okay? So you can go in there and you can knock it out. Not everybody is going to pass the test on the first time. Some people pass general knowledge, then they have a problem with combination. So take those free practice tests that you could do on the internet, take those in advance so you'll be ready. And if you can, go ahead and go to the DMV. Some schools may not take your permit from your state and you may have to take it all over again, but at least you will be familiar with the questions on the test so you won't have any problems or issues passing that test, okay? Because that is a big disqualifier if you don't pass your permit test. You're going to have so many options to pass that test. Some schools make you pay for the permit test. So if you don't have the money to keep taking that test, that could be a way for you to go home as well, okay? So the more prepared you are, the faster it will go along for you. Be expected to be away from home at least 2 to 3 months, okay, before you're able to get back to the house, okay? That if you go through everything correctly, you will have your CDL mostly in about 21 days, which is 3 weeks, okay? And that's if you learn how to shift, if you know how to back up, if you pass your written test. It usually takes about 21 days. What can delay that is if you fail any of those things. If you fail your pre-trip, if you fail your air brake test, if you fail your written test, that will delay your process, okay? So then you'll have to start all over with the next class that comes behind you, okay? You don't want to do that. The more a lot of the schools, you don't get paid until you behind the wheel of that truck driving, okay? So a lot of people, if they don't have money, they will live off an advances just in order to feed themselves, okay? Make sure that you got some kind of support system, because some schools require you to provide your own food, okay? Be able to eat for that period of time that you're doing your classroom training, okay? Once you get that permit in your hand, you are one step closer to your CDL. A lot of states make you wait at least 14 days before you can take your CDL test, okay? So that gives you about 2 weeks for you to practice out there on the road. So the first 7 days is your permit. The next 14 days is you going outside, practicing in a yard, in a secure training environment where you will learn how to back up the truck, offset. You will learn how to do maybe a 90-degree. You will learn how to shift. You will learn how to do a straight line back. You will learn how to do parallel. Okay, so you will get those skills those 2 weeks that you're out there. You will also be taken out with a trainer in that area to teach you how to shift the truck, you know, and get a little bit experience behind the wheel in order for you to test out. Okay. Testing. When you go out for your testing, you're going to have to perform air brake test. You're going to have to perform your pre-trip. You're going to have to perform for you to shift the truck, okay, for you to be able to drive the truck, for you to watch your speed and all that kind of stuff in order to pass your test, okay? A lot of times, you know, they have the trainers already there certified to be able to certify you to get your license. Once you get your license, that is the exciting part, because it gets a little bit more difficult now, okay? This is where the real training begins, okay? You are going to go out with a trainer, somebody that's been out here, and it could be anywhere from a year on up to a lot of years out here, okay? But you will be actually on a truck with a trainer on the road, okay? You will be able to pack a bag, bring all that with you. Be prepared to be on that truck for at least 4 to 6 weeks, okay? And your going home time kind of depends on the trainer. If they take a break, you may not necessarily be able to get back to the house in those 6 weeks. Be prepared for that, okay? Be prepared. There's a lot of people that stay out on the road. They don't take breaks when they training, and they like to go hard and at it for the whole time that you're out there, okay? So when you come back from training, being on that truck, you do usually get paid while you're training, while you're on the truck. That's when you will start to generate some income. It's not going to be a lot of income. It's anywhere between $500 to $700 a week, and then they have to take out taxes for that. And they will take out if you have borrowed any money while you was in school, okay? So it's not a lot of money. So make sure if you have outstanding bills, car notes, anything like that at home, that you kind of take care of that before you get out on the road, because once you out here, you don't want to be distracted and have to come back home for any reasons. You want to be able to get that training done, completed, so then you can go home, get your things together, and be ready to go to work, okay? During that period of time, I think I'm gonna stop at 15 minutes, and then I'm gonna give you a part 2, okay? But that is to get you ready to get out there on the road, okay? We're gonna also talk about some options. As Tamara, I want to be a part of the transportation industry, but I don't necessarily want to drive a truck. Are there other positions and jobs that I could do, maybe from where I live at, that will give me some experience in the transportation industry, but I'm not actually a driver? So we're going to talk about those things as well. So part 1 is what to expect when you are thinking about going out here to school, to CDL school, how long it will actually take you to get that license in your hand, okay? That you will become a solo driver, okay? Now, all through this process, you have people that are not going to make it. So when you get into this, a lot of this, you know, I understand. I hear you when you call and you say, you know, I got a good job right now, but I always wanted to, you know, drive a truck. You know, you know, my job is paying the bills right now. I don't know if I could be able to take all 3 weeks to go out here to see if I can, back up an 18-wheeler. It's something that I would like to do, but I don't know if I'm ready for that. And that's something that you have to take in consideration. You need to have some savings when you start a new career. I was kind of forced because I didn't have anything. I didn't have anything to be worried about, like a car note, rent. I didn't have anything. I was kind of like not thrown into it, but I chose trucking because I needed that income. It wasn't like I had this great big old income and then I made a decision to go be a truck driver. It's like I had no income, okay? So that was the fastest way that I could do to create an income that came in a short period of time. Okay, so that's what trucking did for me. It allowed me to create an income. I knew I would at least make $1,000 a week if I did it right, and I would be able to start making money in a short period of time. Okay, but you got to have all your ducks in a row before you get out here and start to do that. Make sure you got a support system with your kids. You got somebody to care for them, because they can call you out on the road and it may be something simple. You could be somewhere in Utah and your child is down here in Florida, Georgia. You have no way to get to them within a couple of days. Okay, so make sure you have a strong support system around you that can handle any issues that may come up while you're away from the house. It is going to be very difficult on a marriage if you're not used to your spouse being away from home for 3 months. Okay, if you're used to seeing your spouse come home every day, being there all night, you've never been without him or her, that is going to be a real difficult process for you, because you're trying to focus on a career and another person is telling you that they miss you and they want you to come home and this, that, and the third, and that could be very emotional on you. Okay, so kind of prepare yourself and your spouse on making a decision that will be that may be drastic in the immediate family, and y'all gonna have to adjust some kind of way. Okay, so that's part one, is getting the permit, getting the license, and finally making it to your trainer truck. Okay, part two, we're going to talk about the training process of the 4 to 6 weeks and what happens then and after you become a solo driver. I'll be right back with you. Okay.